As we work on organizing your Google Drive, let's take a look at the process of creating and organizing folders. As you create a number of documents, gathering them in folders by topic is a good place to start. To create a new folder in your Google Drive, in the upper left-hand corner, click New, and then Folder. Remember that the folders you create will be placed in numerical and alphabetical order in your drive. The naming system you use is important for staying organized. So in this case, I'm going to create a folder with the number 1 in front, called English, and you'll see it puts it right at the top of my list of folders in my Google Drive. I'm going to create a second one called Math with a 2 next to it, and you will see that they will be right in order. Remember, I can look at my folders in 2 different ways. This is the list view. By clicking here, I can also put it into the icon view. So I have icons, and then also I have them in a list. One strategy to consider for organization in Google Drive involves creating master folders, because you can put subfolders within those. For example, you might have an English folder like this, and then inside of it, if it's a master folder, I might create folders for 9th grade, 10th grade, and so on. So all of your English documents could be stored in the appropriate folders, and it would be much easier to find those. It is also possible that you could create folders that look like this. So I now have 4 folders at the top that are master folders, and everything that it relates to freshman year could go in that folder, everything relates to sophomore year could go in the next, and so on. Google Drive also gives you the option to color code your folders. Choosing a color scheme to identify the content of your folders can make it easier to navigate and find the files that you need. So for example, if I click on this folder and go to change color, let's make this one, we'll just go kind of in order here along the color palette. We'll go purple, change color here to blue, we'll make this one green, and we'll make this one yellow. Now what you could also do then is any subfolders that go within those could also go under the purple, blue, green, and yellow color coding scheme. Starring files that you are currently working on makes it easy to look under the starred section for the file. Here are some loose files at the bottom. If I right click on those and then add to starred, what you'll notice is that if I want to find anything that's been added to starred files, you just come over here on the left to starred, and there are all those files that I just starred right there. If you add stars to several files, eventually this area will become cluttered. If you unstar files as you're finished with them, this strategy becomes more effective. To unstar them, I just use the same process, but now I remove them from the starred files. Understanding how Google Classroom works with Google Drive is also important. As soon as you join a Google Classroom for the first time, a folder called Classroom is created in Google Drive, and subfolders for each class that you join are created within that Classroom folder. Here is a Google PD class that I was part of as a student a few years ago. If I go to my Google Drive, there is a folder in here called Classroom that I did not create. Google Classroom created this. If I open that, what I will find is that there will be a subfolder in that Google Classroom folder that is going to correspond and match up with my Google Classroom. Now, as you can see, I have lots of folders in here because I have taught several classes over the years, and any class that you have will show up in this folder. But here is this Google PD folder. Now, you can see for that particular Google Classroom, I only had one assignment. But let's come over here and let's take a look at where that assignment matches up with. Under classwork, I just have a couple of assignments here. If I look at this back to school essay assignment, let's go ahead and open that up. Under the Your Work section right here, you will see there is a Google Doc for the back to school essay. That is this assignment right here, this Google Doc. So if I were to accidentally hit that X and remove that from my work, sometimes students have the misconception that that document has been deleted or disappeared. All I need to do is go back to Add or Create. I can go to Google Drive. And if I go to the My Drive tab, all I have to do is look in Google Classroom in that particular class, and there's what's in that folder. So I could reattach it, turn it in. So unless you remove it from Google Drive, none of your Google Classroom assignments are ever actually deleted. If you know where to look in Google Drive, you can just reattach your assignment and keep moving forward. The last thing to look at is understanding how the Shared With Me portion of Google Drive works. It is really difficult for some users who want to organize this section of their drive, but the best thing to do is just leave it alone. It is just a place where everything your collaborators have shared with you is deposited. It is not meant to be organized with folders and the renaming of files. You can add files here by searching for them, but if you have files you need to find quickly and easily, you should just choose the Add to Drive feature. I'm going to take this file here and right-click, and then go Add Shortcut to Drive. Within my drive, I can add it to any of these folders, or if I just go with Add Shortcut, it will put it with the files at the end. Now when I come back to my drive, that document has now been added. I'm not actually the owner, that's why you see the arrow there, but it is now able to be organized in folders, and I can put it somewhere where I can easily find it outside of that Shared With Me section. So remember, Google Drive can get very cluttered and disorganized easily, but if you're able to create folders, use color coding, and consistent naming systems, it will be much easier for you to find your files when you need them.